心态上会有点变化吧，因为我觉得我之前TI 打的就是有时候我会打的感觉，就我现在看啊，就感觉之前打的可能想的东西太少了，然后现在我觉得就是我的思维格局会更大一点，就包括就是不止于我自己的位置，我会去说一些就别的位置，然后该怎么去运营，然后该怎么去打团之类的。就现在我觉得这种思路会更宽大一点，因为我觉得之前打的太偏个人了，然后偏的打的有时候也会就看起来就没那么有章法吧。
It's been a season of high highs and low lows, ending with a tough performance in June's Anna Major when the wildcard round sent IG home before they could even see the main stage.
然后有别的队伍在聊到你们的时候，或者说有一些观众在聊到你们的时候，认为你们是有隐藏实力，或者说不一定是刻意的隐藏，但是可能就是主观上没有那么大的强的动力，导致你们没有打出特别好的状态。你们会自己怎么来评价自己在 Animator 的一个表现
？Animator 就是我们也没有隐藏实力吧，就是我们就是5号位不在嘛，然后就是我们教练上会在那个线上的时候，有时候会出一些小问题。我团战其实还是蛮好的，就是我们线上出的问题会比较大，所以打的没有特别好，但也没有隐藏实力啊，我们也是在认真打的。
所以其实就是人员不整，其实是成绩波动最大的原因，和主观能动性关系不大。
对的。然后我觉得外卡赛队伍也是非常强吧，然后打比赛我觉得更看一个状态，就是谁状态好谁就能赢，这样。
你可以想象一下，现在登上 TI 的舞台要出场了，然后这个时候播放的是你们的采访片，这个时候屏幕里的卡卡说一句话，
用一句一毛大神的话说，就是让我们来看看谁才是真的 TI 冠军吧。
Let's see who the strongest TI champion is. Those are very, very, very strong words from a very strong team. Now, a lot of people, when people think about the Chinese region, obviously one of the teams that people will think of is PSG LGD, but IG is also a really strong team as well. Lizard, can you tell me a little bit about what makes them the strong team?
Oh, well, they came into the first season of DPC in the Chinese region, not really with stellar performance. They had their ups and downs, but instantly into the major, they take it after the question mark. The mental strength that's necessary to go from 0-2 into winning a major, I think that's probably their strongest thing at the moment. Even at the TI, the fact that you have, besides them being obviously extremely good players with a lot of confidence, they can go as far as to the grand finals.
And basically, since this team formed, I feel like they've been successful. Like right after forming, they won a minor to qualify for one of the old majors. I think it was the MDL major where they got third place. So, like even right after forming, they're getting top 3. Then the new season starts, they get first place at the Singapore major, and their result at the Anna major, as they kind of mentioned in the interview, was pretty much entirely down to having the stand-in.
Right, because they had their coach stand in for them. Now, Insania, tell me how the TI experience might affect them here, because I believe that for IG, Fly and Kaka have attended TIs before, but for the other 3 players, this is their first TI.
I think where you would imagine for a lot of players that adds a lot of pressure, I feel like Emo's the kind of person who just wants that. I think he thrives off
He feeds off.
Exactly. To me, when I watch IG play and just the vibe that the team gives me, I feel like they're a team that likes this environment. They want to play high-pressure games. And, like we said, top performances at all their LAN events ever since the team formed, I think is a sign of that.
Interesting. Well, while IG is a very, very accomplished and strong team, we also have on the other side Team Secret, right? And they've been doing extremely well at this TI. A lot of people were thinking, oh, maybe Team Secret is hiding their strats, and they came to TI and boom, they came out with a bang. They had impressive games, and now they're kind of looking like they're set to win in a lot of people's minds. What makes Team Secret a good match for IG?
With Team Secret, there's always been a bit of a meme around this team about TI form. They're a team that has kind of repeatedly maybe disappointed their fans with their results. But realistically, when you look at it, they've gotten top 4, top 6 at all these recent TIs. And I think this year is no different, except for the fact they've added somebody, Matu, who has that experience. He's played at the TI main stage numerous times. He's won the TI championship with Team Liquid. And I think that kind of experience and kind of composure that he can bring makes a big difference when often Puppy has teammates who are like younger and more inexperienced.
Also, TI was moved away from August, which is usually where Secret hit maximum TI form. October, they're usually very, very good. So I think
Yeah.
that might also play to their
Straight after the TI, usually they're
Precisely,
again,
precisely.
amazing.
October's a good month for Team Secret.
So are you saying that moving TI to October was a Team Secret buff?
I do think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Also being in that incredibly strong wildcard at the end major with IG, I believe Nigma as well, and falling out of the major very early on, made them take perhaps some vacation a little bit earlier and come refreshed to the TI.
So Matumbaman is like their new player, and Gods, you said that he's really, really strong. Do you think that the addition of Matumbaman as their newest player has changed how Team Secret has performed?
I think Matu provides Secret with a lot of stability, and he's a player that you can kind of put into almost any hero, and he's going to be able to perform on it. And I think for Secret, it's nice to have someone, a carry player that can both be like a shining star for them, but he can also let the other people shine through. Like you have Nisha, Zai, Yapsor, you have all these like star players, even Puppy, like even their position 5 player sometimes turns into the carry. So I think having a carry player that's as versatile as Matumbaman is plays hugely into their strengths.
If you go all the way back to his Nigma days, right? Like he was sacrificial one in a lot of games, and he was forced into sometimes playing these cheesy heroes that aren't necessarily the best in the meta, but are strong in certain circumstances. Having that as well on your side, even though it's not the focal point of the current meta, can prove to be handworthy.
So we have China and we have Europe, and a lot of people have said throughout the year that they have very different play styles. How will these play styles clash? Does Team Secret and IG, do they even follow their regional metas?
Well, Secret at the moment, in my opinion, has a perfect read on the meta. If you look at the way that they played versus OG, the way they drafted, the moment ET has been picked up by OG, a hero that has been picked up, I think the most times at the tournament, they instantly respond with an Enchantress, which makes his laning a little bit more difficult and also makes everything easier for Team Secret. There was an interview with Seb post-game on the Chinese channel, and they asked him what happened in the game, and Seb was very honest. They just outdrafted us and then crushed us. It's just the way it was.
I think Secret, what they showed in the OG series is that they can wall out this aggression that we've seen during TI. Like, I think PSG, LGD, IG, and OG are the 3 teams that they're able to just run at you and apply pressure and get their carry players to get ahead. But Secret proved that, you know what, we know how to, like, put up the wall. We can stop you from running at us. And I think that's something I haven't seen from any other team ever since, I would say, like, LGD rose to dominance. So if Secret has figured it out draft-wise, how to, like, stop this fast-paced gameplay, I think they have a very shot at both beating IG, but going even further than that, maybe, you know, taking the next step into the grand finals.
I like that. I like that procedural thinking that you had. Now, you mentioned the wall. I know that you've talked about it a little bit during the group stage. Can you please explain what you mean by Team Secret's wall?
Okay, so I think when you play against Team Secret, and something that I know we struggled against a lot personally on Liquid, is they will basically wall you out. They won't let you get onto their side without fighting you. And they will abuse the fact that, you know, you have to run up ramps to reach the high grounds of their side of the map. And Puppy will position himself there on this, like, ogre-type hero or enchantress, and he'll just bully you out and be like, hey, you can't get past me.
Just imagine Puppy standing on top of the stairs with a club, ogre club,
Precisely.
waiting for you.
And then little Mies approaching.
And you're a Crystal Maiden going in for a gank. You're smoked. The smoke breaks, and so does your team fight afterwards. They're really good at breaking up team fights and setting up the perimeter around Matumbaman while he is farming.
On the other hand, for IG, if there was like a signature move for IG, what would it be, if anything at all? Or is it just simple diversity?
When I think of IG, I think of just Kaka and Emo as like the 2 big playmakers. I think Kaka, his Lion, you know, you go back, he's always played these big playmaking, stunning, start the fight kind of 4 positions, even like when Sankin was a 4 position. So he's a guy you kind of have to look out for to make those big mid-game plays. But really, all of their mid-game plays are centered around Emo and him being the kind of flashy superstar of this team who wants to pop off. It can be hit or miss at times, but if I think IG is going to take it against Team Secret, it really comes down to Emo a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think for IG, it's initiation. Like, Kaka will play a hero that's going to blink stun you, and Emo will be there to follow up. So if they can get that jump, if they don't get stuck on running up the ramps, I think IG has a really good chance of winning this.
My just small take coming from the DPC seasons is JT, you can't allow him to have a great lane. If you're IG, that is, because every time he has a great, amazing lane, complete chaos ensues. They're just running across the map, killing you for at least 5 to 10 minutes, dominating completely, but then they go that one step too much. You've seen that yesterday at the Slardar game. That's literally a repeat of the DPC season game. He went Io Slardar on the lane. You know how that's strong.
Yeah.
How strong that lane is. They went 7-0 and then bought Midas and just fed a bit.
I see.
So make sure JT struggles. Is the game plan for IG.
Make sure he struggles, but everyone else has a good time. That's it.
And you talk about the wall. I think if anything, you think of how to play against it. Running a more kind of passive, defensive kind of like late game carry may be the way to play against that if you're IG.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know the few times that we've had success beating Team Secret has been when we've been able to outscale them and force Secret to come to you. And I think that's a position, if IG can get to that point in the game where like their pressure allows them to force Secret to come chase them around, I think that's when you get Secret on the back foot.
But Secret is so patient. You told me during a group stage that they're super patient. They're very, very good at letting the enemy come to them. Do you think that is that going to happen here?
So it can happen if IG gets a favorable draft for themselves. That can scale better. That's what Insania just said. If we are able to outscale them, and if we have decent laning stage, that will force them to come to us because we don't have to make any moves. And if IG manage to put themselves in such situation, they can definitely take Secret. They can break the wall.
Okay. So about how that fits into the tournament meta, do you think that we're going to see a lot of the same things that we've seen throughout the tournament so far? Like Monkey King, Tiny kind of fallen off a little bit, and I mean Ogre is really popular with Team Secret, right? So what kind of heroes do you think are going to come out in this draft?
It's going to be tough to say. I think yesterday when we saw Secret go up against OG, that was a really prepared Secret for OG specifically. I felt like they had hero answers for that team. And, they've had the luxury of playing against OG for months in the European region. So I'm not sure how prepared they'll be for IG, but I'd expect to see them, probably coming in ready, like having ideas for whatever IG might throw at them.
Interesting. Look at this graphic here. Favorite heroes of TI10, Ogre Magi. Okay, that fits. Snapfire, Tiny, and Morphling. With a picture of Magnus.
The funky looking Morphling.
He's morphed into Mag.
He morphed into Mag. That's it. But
that's definitely Morphling though, right? Like that's the stat for Morphling. Favorite pairings are Ogre Magi and Magnus.
And Ogre Magi and Tiny. And it's understandable because they truly do complement each other. You get damage from one and cleave, and from the other you get that attack speed that is so nice for a hero such as Tiny. It's literally all he needs at the moment.
Yeah, even the Ogre and Magnus is all about buffing up your character. They're really trying to go for these heroes that complement whatever Matu is playing.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before, but at TI especially, your carry player is like really put under pressure, and having whatever tools you can have to buff him up, I think has been a generally pretty winning concept throughout the last couple of years of TI.
So you said earlier that I think a lot of people said this, that this is kind of like a patch that heavily favors supports like that 5 position. Do you think that either team benefits from that over the other?
I think Team Secret is like very well rounded. They have basically both Yapsor and Puppy that are star style support players, and I think one of the biggest strengths that they've had throughout the years is that they've managed to enable both supports in most patches. I think right now Yapsor suffers a little bit from the way the patch is set up. So I'd say probably IG has a little bit of a bigger edge because I think Kaka just, he wants one Blink Dagger and then he's going to go in and die anyways. So
Only is perhaps a little bit more predictable when it comes to the drafts and position 5s that he plays throughout the seasons. He's played very stable heroes such as Phoenix and whatnot multiple times. Sometimes if there is some innovation coming from the Chinese region, it's mostly Aster that will do it with gyrocopters on 5. Lanham with Treant Protector and Abaddon and just running down people. Meanwhile, Oli, he would let Kaka have those flashier, more innovative heroes while he'd go with the standard ones.
He's trying to secure the lane, or maybe just like he's play a Phoenix where he has this big team fight thing to offer, but he's not trying to be that big playmaking hero that impacts the mid game.
I think he's more of like a very positioning heavy support player. I think he's the kind of guy that if you give him an Oracle, or you give him a Phoenix, or you give him a Wisp, he'll always get his spells off and he'll get him off at the right time. And he always knows how to like keep himself alive until the clutch time in a team fight comes.
Interesting. I wonder if either of these teams have been affected by the no audience here this year. Like, do you think either of these teams are affected by that at all? You know, we have Emo with the
Well,
question mark
yep.
famous, but
Exactly. Maybe Secret has been affected, but I doubt it.
I think
However,
it could benefit them if anything. I don't.
yeah, sure.
I feel like Secret's sometimes a team that has a lot of like weight and pressure on them. So if anything, I wouldn't think of Secret as a team that really like feeds off the crowd like a OG does, for example.
I agree. And then on the other side, IG, they've already proven to us that they don't care. That question mark, that was also at an
Yeah.
event without an audience, and they
That is
thrived
true.
on it.
interesting. I hope that both teams are still feeling the cheers of the crowd that we have going on, and yeah, I just hope that they know that they have a lot of people at home cheering with them. Now for IG, right? They have players that have been they have like players that have been doing really well at
LAN
okay,
events.
at TIs and at LANs. But do you think that their coach has been supporting them a lot, other than their performance at the Annie Major? Like, how do you think their coach
Like the
has...
mental performance and
Yes.
whatnot. For
Yes.
sure, for sure. I think that there is this attitude towards newer players that your coach has to take in a way that he needs to help them with mental preparation for tournaments. But I come back to what Insania talked about. Emo, he seems to be thriving on it. I would even say that maybe he needed to help out Kaka, the old veteran, more than he needed to help out Emo.
Yeah, look at him. He's smiling.
Like,
He's happy to be
he's
here.
ready. He's ready
wants
to put some
exactly.
question marks in the chat. You
Oh
know.
my gosh.
And regarding that, I think I overheard I heard that he overheard EG talking about his morphling at the Annie Major. I think I saw this translated on Reddit, and they had said something like, "Oh, he's trying to be like Thompson" or something like that. So there was a lot of like pent up frustration that went into that question mark.
That
I'm like,
was a mistake.
I'm gonna
Oh my
prove to you
gosh.
that I'm better. And I think like that kind of attitude, TI is the place, right? That's the place where you prove that you are the king, you are the greatest of all time. And I think, I mean, it's hard not to love the guy. I think for me at least, this is probably the reason I like IG the most is just his personality and who he is and what he brings to the scene.
He really gives off like young Sumail vibes.
Yes,
Like,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
everything you're saying, I was like, this is Sumail back in 2015, 2016. He's just like this young, really confident, cocky kid who just thinks he's better than everyone, and
Yeah.
he was
And he
better than everyone.
was,
Yeah,
right.
9 times out of 10.
And when you
so.
think about it, Sumail is the one that made this prophecy already. He said that Emo will be
Yeah.
the next superstar.
Yeah.
It was on point.
And Sumail doesn't really say that about a lot of people. Like, I don't think I've ever heard him look at someone and be like, this guy's good.
On the flip side about LGD, he said nothing to say is their most replaceable player, which isn't just like it wasn't like hard flaming. He was just saying he's like the least vital part of their system, maybe. But it shows how much he really respects Emo. That he's just saying, yeah, he's the real deal.
And that was also because they were destroying tournaments with their coach being on that mid lane. So when that happens, you're like, okay, if this team is so strong that they can win with mid lane coach, they can do whatever they want to.
Now, on the opposite side, Heen is the coach, right, for Team Secret, and he has performed at TIs as well, and he's also won Esports Coach of the Year last year, I believe. So tell me a little bit about him and how he has benefited the team.
He's a TI champion. Everyone I've talked to who's worked with him has nothing but like the highest praise. He just seems like a really calm, steady voice. I mean, maybe you guys know a bit more about him on a personal level, but he seems like one of the best coaches in Dota 2.
Yeah, he's always very calm. I think the Korean coaches, they're a little bit broken. We have one of our own. I feel like it's just the meta. You have to have a Korean coach. It's an advantage you get automatically.
What is the advantage that
I'm
you
not
get
sure.
from that?
It's just I feel like so we have Blitz, and I get a similar vibe when I talk to Heen at events. But it's just this very calm person. They give off good vibes. They're very smart, very intellectual. I feel like this has just been my experience with the Korean coaches I've ran into.
Did Blitz pay you to say this? or-
No. But he's on his plane on his way here now, so I'm
I
a
see.
little
So
bit
you're
afraid.
prepping the
I need to
ground.
make sure I
I see.
butter him up a bit. So
Understandable. At the same time, Secret in the last year, it was all online events, but they won pretty much everything. And if anyone will get that award, it should be their coach.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you were to, on a completely different note, if you were to nominate another coach for best coach, what would you nominate? I'm just curious.
He would nominate Blitz.
Wait, you can't. Okay, you cannot
not
nominate Blitz.
Okay,
No,
I would
no.
probably nominate Jabs or
I
second
see
coach.
their second coach.
Okay,
TI,
no.
TI coach.
TI coach.
Wow, that's tough choice.
March, maybe?
Yeah, I
T1.
mean, it's impressive what March has done with T1 and how far they've gotten, but at the end of the day, I just think Zhao 8, to me, is like, he's such a standout person for LGD, and I don't think LGD would be LGD without him. So, for me, he's probably the most obvious choice.
Blizzard?
Yeah, I would go with March. I think the transformation that they've made on the side of T1 in the last couple of months is phenomenal. They looked, while Jackie was still in the team, they looked a little bit shaky. Replacing him for 23 Savage, they looked shaky again, but they found the right recipe to work around 23 Savage. They didn't fall apart after a rough start to the second season, and they pulled it together, and here they are, looking extremely strong. In the lower bracket, but still extremely strong.
Gods.
I would have said Zhao as well, but I'll say who my runner-up would be Bulba. I think EG's been like the most consistent top-performing team. Obviously, we're saying this right after they got knocked out of TI, so it's a tough moment for EG. But I think historically Bulba and EG have had some of the best results in competitive Dota 2.
Yeah, Bulba also has like a lot of. He's very actively involved in the team, right? Like he drafts for EG. Who drafts for IG and who drafts for Secret? Do you either?
I think
happen to know?
I've seen Super sit down in the chair at least a couple of times. I would imagine like it's a fairly, especially in Chinese teams, I think they tend to do it almost always. The coach is very involved in the draft, at least what it looks like from the outside. I don't know if they just do most of the prep work or if they just step aside, let me do the drafting.
But for Secret, do you tell Puppy to stand
I
up
think,
out
no,
of his
it's-
chair?
I think there's a reverse situation
Yeah.
there. I think Heen is probably very much on the prep side of things, and Puppy's the one that makes the decisions ultimately in the end.
So, can you run me through how drafting works prior to a TI? Because teams are always discussing strategies, right? And draft is involved in that. How do you prep for that?
So I think when you come into group stage, you want to come in with a strong identity of like, this is what our team does well. This is what we are going to aim to do. And you come in with this idea that you've kind of prepared, or, we like these heroes. These are the heroes we think are strong. These are our answers. This is how we're going to try to approach it. We want to play fast. We want to play slow. We want to build a wall. Whatever, play style your team has, I think that's what you come into group stages with. And then depending on how well it goes, you adapt. You're like, oh, okay, the teams that are playing really fast are doing very well. So we might need to take a little bit of that and add it to our playstyle. Or, never mind. Secret seems to have it figured out. They got these heroes that can zone people off. We should try to learn how to do those. And I think once you reach the deeper points of the tournament, it's more team versus team rather than like overall meta. And you're thinking more about what your opponents can do and what you can do to match it.
You have more time to prepare as well.
Exactly.
Right? When you're in the group stages, you're just constantly playing. You don't even have time to watch all the games. You have a coach, but it's physically not possible. So after the group stage, you have that one day off. You take it to go through all the data, figure out which heroes have worked for different teams, figure out which heroes have worked for the teams that you are up against, and then prepare exactly for that. And if your idea, Puppy said, if your idea is correct, you're gonna win. If it's not, you're gonna lose. And that's he keeps it realistic. He's my Slav boy like that. I appreciate it.
So, there are practice rooms here at TI, right? The teams are able to practice, and in the group stage, we saw the players kind of headed there all the time to like go practice all day. How does that apply to TI? What do teams do at TI? Do they still use those practice rooms and like practice? Do they scrim each other, or do they just kind of like lock it down?
So I think there's some nuance to it. I don't know if every team does it the same way, but I would imagine there's a lot of watching the games that are going on and, sitting there as a group talking about it. I think some teams probably, they decide to scrim. They want to warm up a strategy. Let's say we have an idea of how to beat IG. And then maybe, there's another Chinese team that wants to scrim you. So you try to scrim that idea against them, see if it works as a matchup against the playstyle. And if it does, you might run with it in the actual tournament. But it's really, really individual, I think. I think some players, they like to go sit down and play a bunch of pubs. They just want to get warmed up. They want to get into the thinking of Dota, get into the flow of things. And others just want to relax. So it's very individual, I'd say.
The last couple of days, there were not many pro players playing pubs. I can tell you that. Like, if you go into pubs and search a game, you're gonna find some 1K MMR, 1K rank scrubs. You won't be playing the same matches that you were playing just before TI started.
Yeah, during the group stage it was very different. I felt like because I'd see Secret play a two game series, then right afterwards I saw Puppy in a pub game. So I think main event things it's like you're dead set, just focus on your next opponent because you know who you're going to play. So I think the practice phase is kind of past. But yeah, at this point it's all about just preparing for that one important best of 3 that you've got coming up.
Yeah.
I I guess it's true because it is really scary. Do you think that the teams are playing differently because they're in the upper bracket instead of the lower bracket? Because the lower bracket, from what I've been told, is where people start bringing out the cheese strats or like the secret strats, I guess. But what about an upper bracket?
I think traditionally game 2 of or either the opening game of the series in the upper bracket or the lower bracket. That's really when you're gonna see like a prepared strat. Because coming into game 1, you've had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to prep. So whatever strat you're coming in with is what you theoretically thought like this is what's gonna be really really good against this team. And that's I think where you might see like these cheesier type heroes. They haven't really been that popular at this TI though. I think this is probably the TI I've seen the least.
This is a TI without a single meepo picked, so that tells a lot about cheese picks.
No brood as well, I
No
believe.
No Huskar either, I think.
Yep.
No.
So
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 arc wardens maximum. So
I feel like Ice Frog was like, we've gone 2 years without a TI, no cheese this year. We're gonna make this a clean, a gentleman's TI.
Has there been a techies yet?
I don't think there
Don't
has.
think
I don't
so
think
either.
so as
Wow.
well. Yeah.
I mean,
What?
Cheese
Sorry.
We are
dead.
blessed.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say no Quakefat TI, right? No Huskar, no brood.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
I'm actually quite surprised by Huskar. I expected that hero to be picked up at least a couple of times. Coming into the TI, playing a lot of pubs, watching a lot of pro players, there was a lot of them spamming that hero.
Yeah, I mean Ame was playing it a lot. I actually expected to see more Huskar during the tournament, but it hasn't been picked at all. So maybe he figured out something we didn't. I think the shard is very, very strong, and I think there's potential. If there's going to be cheese, I think out of the options that are left, Huskar is probably the most likely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it just because of the shard that Huskar is the secret strat?
For me, at least, the power level of Huskar compared to the other heroes, he just seems like a better hero than the rest. I think Techies maybe, but it would have to be the right
He's
circumstances.
playable.
And the right team. You need like the techie specialist.
I don't know if Zinq plays. Or sorry, wrong series. Maybe in the LGD series,
Yeah.
Zinq might play.
I was talking about Huskar. He's kind of playable, right? Other heroes such as Techies, Meepo, definitely not. They're a
I know
little
there are
bit too
people
weak
that don't
at the
like
moment.
Meepo. Yeah.
If they get buffed eventually, they will be played. But before that, probably not.
So in the draft, they banned 2 heroes first on each side. Do you think that we're gonna see like tournament standard bans that same bans that we've seen pretty much all through the group stage and through most?
So
of the
when it
stage?
comes to Secret, I believe they will stray away from the tournament bans and ban out the heroes that are aimed at IG. I feel that they've prepared really well for the Chinese teams. They've had 2 ties in the group stages versus them, but also if you think about the series versus OG, that's not what they banned. They let the Elder Titan go through, they banned out OG specials, and they just picked Enchantress against it. They counter it.
Yeah, I think Puppy, especially as a drafter, likes knowing what the opponents are going to pick. So leaving something that's maybe strong there, it helps you prepare, especially as Saya mentioned for that game 1, you have a prepared strat. It's a lot easier to prepare a strat if you know what your opponents are going to pick. So leaving something in that you kind of like dangle in front of them, you tease them with this, oh, you can get this first pick ET or this first pick Tiny, and we have an answer for it. That's quite likely.
So pretend that you are the coach of IG and you have your hand in the picks and bans. What would you ban first phase? What would you pick first phase?
That's crazy hard. I unfortunately have not done my homework well enough to be able to answer that question, but it ties back to what I said. I think if I'm IG, what I'm aiming for, what I'm thinking, like I want to accomplish the goal of breaking down the wall. I want to feel like we can move into their side of the map, and then as soon as we've established control of the game, force Secret to come chase us.
Do you think that Mars Phoenix is something they could go for, or is that going to play in the Secret
You
hands?
think if IG can pick it, or
Yeah, IG can pick, because that's one of their kind of bread and butter strategies.
No, I think Teamfight, generally speaking, always does well at TI, and I mean, I think Secret's this game is not gonna end in 20 minutes, I think. And with that said, now I'll probably curse the game, but most likely, I don't think the game is gonna end fast because of the way both these teams play. I think it's quite patient, and while IG, I would say, is the more aggressive team, I think in terms of accomplishing their win condition, it usually takes a good half hour or so for them to build up. So I think, yeah, Mars Phoenix, any sort of scaling, team fight, late game damage.
And if you think about how convincing Secret was versus OG, I think coming into the game, IG's draft is going to be a little bit more difficult. You have to be thinking about some of these heroes that have been picked up in those games. Specifically Tinker as well. It looked extremely strong. The Morphling plus Shaker combination coming back to the TI stage, and Secret looked like they were just having fun in the game. So you have to be thinking about the Morphling, about the Tinkers, about the Magnus Ogres, Tinies. There's a lot on your mind.
And I think you have the pressure, right? Secret has shown that they can beat Elder Titan. The
Right.
Enchantress has to be going through the head of IG. Whereas maybe IG don't want to play against Elder Titan, right? So now they're forced to ban it, even if they're on the first pick side of the game, where normally you wouldn't have to. And I think this is the big advantage you get by proving to everybody that we can beat one of the best meta heroes. And that's something that I think in terms of like the first pick draft, here it plays into Secret strength that they've shown everybody like, yo, we can beat this.
And I'm not sure, obviously, what they're going to be banning or not, but I'm sure that Secret isn't the most capable, let's not put it most capable, most successful or proficient IO team. They never were. They were never truly playing this hero to the fullest. Even when it was an IO meta, they weren't picking him. And that's something that IG might abuse, but at the same time, IG is not the team from Chinese region that plays IO a lot, so maybe it just goes unbanned, unpicked.
IO unbanned, unpicked.
Probably not.
Completely uncontested.
It's a hot take. It's a very hot take, but possible.
Yeah, Ollie will play it, but it's not
Yeah.
like his go-to. It's not like I think they'd much rather see him on that Phoenix, maybe even a Bane, those kind of other more positional-based heroes. But yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out. How about we take a look at most banned heroes of all time at TI?
IO.
Look who it is!
No surprise.
Io. Now tell me a little bit about this Naga Siren ban. Why is Naga second most banned at TI?
No one wants to play against that.
I feel like, could this be because there were not that many carry heroes originally? From like, I'm thinking the early
From
days.
the first
that
days when it was
Naga
like
kept
50
getting banned
heroes.
a lot in the
By
start.
like TI2, the hero pool was pretty complete. I think
Okay,
we're
okay.
close to like, it was like somewhere between like 95% of the Dota 1 heroes were in the game, I think, at TI2.
I see.
So there was just a period of time where Naga was just the hero, I guess, the team fight carry. And also, if you go back to the TI5 EG one, it was a 4 position. Everyone had to
Right.
And
ban
it was
when they were
offlane
playing
even at
EG.
some point, right? So
Yeah.
a hero that has moved through positions, and because of that also it got banned quite a bit. Same can be said for Io, who has been played as a carry, as a support, and Enchantress that was extremely popular as an offlaner at TI9.
So we've seen. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something?
I was gonna say, when I think of IO as well, I think of the last 3 TIs, right? We have TI7, GH, probably the world's best IO player, at least
Right.
in the support position. So like, just was pulling bans for this hero. And earlier TIs, you had players like Ake, TI3, just
Yeah.
getting Wisp banned out constantly, and then you have OG's 2 years of dominance where Wisp was just a permanent ban. So I think that explains why the Wisp is on top.
Well, we now see most banned. How about most picked? Let's take a look at the most picked heroes
Rubik?
for all time
Earthshaker,
for
of
TI.
course.
All right, Insania, tell me how happy you are to see Rubik up there in most picked.
I mean, it's just a great hero. I think it's one of the most fun designs that we have in Dota. Just overall an awesome hero. And, at TI, when the stakes are high and, like, everything, you're feeling under pressure, one of the ways you normally deal with Rubik is by covering your spells. Like, you'll throw Ravage and then quickly Anchor Smash. But, when you're on the main stage, when there's so many things going through your mind, that's when you slip up. That's when you forget. And that's what makes those really iconic Rubik moments where you have these amazing steals.
I feel like Earthshaker and Tidehunter have really solidified their positions here at TI. You've seen those echoes and you've seen those ravages, but what about that Mirana? Mirana is third, and we haven't seen too much of Mirana here. Moon Meander played her, but what about Mirana?
It's just
Not
a
so sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flexible, I guess.
flexible hero, has been constantly a solid roamer, has been played on mid for a couple of TIs as well,
Yeah.
as a counter to Razor and some other heroes, but
Yeah.
overall I am a little bit surprised by Mirana. I guess the teamfight composition that she brings, the teamfight help with going in and scouting and also having the invisibility ultimate comes in handy, but I wouldn't have guessed. Like
Also-
that one I wouldn't.
Mirana was one of the few heroes in TI1. If
there
we're
you go,
including
that's
TI1 data, there was like 30 heroes or
Uh-huh.
something in the pool, and I just remember seeing a lot of Mirana. Every
Yeah.
single game was like offlane Mirana because there was just no offlaner. So
I'm also thinking it might be like a mid-player thing, right? Mid-players are cocky.
Mid-player?
TI is the place to prove yourself. You want to play Mirana, show that you can land the arrows. This used to be a topic that you talked about a lot, I think, before, where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a better Mirana than you, or I'm a better Shadow Fiend than you. And I think that hero, since it's been able to, last through the mid days, become a support, and still remain popular, that probably explains why it has such a high pick rate.
Interesting. On the opposite hand, all three of you were wondering who the most the unpicked heroes in TI. Let's take a look at that one. Boom! For this TI, we still have so many heroes
That's-
left unpicked.
That's my pop stack every
Dude,
single day.
Quake was, Quake was crying at home right now. That's his heroes. Broodmother, Huskar, Lone Druid.
Yeah.
He would have single-handedly fixed this.
Yeah, he even plays some Zeus.
Yeah, he does. These are his
Yeah,
heroes.
wow.
And I think if you make him play support, he might play Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
I could see it. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised there's been no Spirit Breaker myself. I think that's one here I thought at least I would get like even like 5 or 6 games in the group stage. But
TSGLG, they played it on mid even.
Yeah,
like,
they were-
just a couple of weeks ago.
they were picking
Nisha
it
White
like
went
every
back to
game.
coaching.
Now, what about Omni Knight? Omni Knight was getting. I would say that Omni Knight was spammed a lot in the last couple of months leading up to TI. What happened to that guy?
I think he got Ice Frog.
He got really ice frogged.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What
So
happened?
his
to him?
Heavenly Grace was basically uncounterable because you couldn't purge it and it provided a lot of status resistance. And then Ice Frog decided, you know what, I don't want to see Omni Knight at TI, so he made it purgeable, which suddenly made an uncounterable skill very easily counterable by a lot of counter picks. So it kind of killed the hero.
There's always a little bit of a TI meta. I feel like you do see some of the exciting, the Shakers, the Enigmas get buffed before TI, and then these Omni repelling someone. That's boring. Naga, kind of boring. Let's nerf these heroes. You know, we don't want to see them at TI. Let's make sure we get the Shakers, the Tide Hunters, the Rubiks, the fun flashy
The more fun
heroes.
heroes.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for that. The
Okay.
meta is definitely more exciting. And so far, the games, this TI has blessed us with some good dotes. We haven't seen the snowbally 13, 14, 15-minute games. It's very competitive, and the meta is very interesting. Even if you think about the group stages, every single team brought something different. To each team its own, they had their own identity and their own meta, which obviously has morphed into something more crystallized after the group stages, but it's been fun to watch.
What was the standout thing that a single team has brought, Lizard?
Standout thing that a single team has brought. Maybe a Monkey King position 4 jumping around without boots with Skadi and Orb of Corrosion for me has been the most interesting one. The position 4 Monkey King itself, okay, that has been played before, nothing extraordinary. But the way they played, the build-up and the level 10 talent that gives you the additional stun duration made it very viable, and it just looks funky. It's if I imagine Yabzor, that's his hero. That's literally it. He doesn't care about utility. Orb of Corrosion, Skadi.
Yeah.
That's all he needs. I'm a
Yeah.
carry.
I would say the other kind of cool fun thing we've seen is the Dawnbreaker come out, particularly the way OG used it mid. I think there was this idea that it could be like an offlaner or a support, and VP also used it as a carry. So I think seeing how VP and OG have used Dawnbreaker has been really impressive this TI.
Yeah, and I think with the way it looked, at least in the series yesterday, it seemed to match extremely well against the Spirits. And every single series I look at now, like it seems like the teams we need to draft some sort of Spirit. It's either Earth, or sorry, it's either Storm, Ember, or
Just
Void
not
Spirit in
Earth.
every single game. Yeah, no Earth Spirit, unfortunately, but who knows? It might come out. It's not a bad hero in the mid lane, but you need to have a player for it. So maybe Thompson could be eyeing it up. But
Maybe Thompson, Earth Spirit. Well, everybody, we just wanted to let you know that there are a little bit of technical difficulties in the pods. We will be fixing that and get right back to the games.
Welcome back, everybody. The teams are locked and loaded, and we are ready to start Invictus Gaming versus Team Secret. Upper bracket best of 3. Loser will fight for 5th and 6th. The winner will head into the top 4. Let's get started with game 1.
Team Secret versus Invictus Gaming. Game 1.
And we're here with the first draft of this wonderful series between IG and Team Secret. Always a pleasure to watch Secret Draft. And we have a new panelist with us.
Howdy.
You might have not seen him before. Her name is Sheepsticked. How are you doing? How are you feeling first time on panel here?
I'm feeling amazing. They let me know they don't have enough British talent yet, so they just had to fly me over quickly to fill that gap.
That's nice. Diversity is important. And then we also got Aoi. We've seen him before. Hello, Aoi.
Hi.
All right, well, we have a draft between Secret and IG. I am curious to know what you are expecting here of Secret, Mr. Aoi. Or IG, rather.
Well, yeah, so for both of them, I think Secret, I don't think they're really thinking they have to do anything out of their norm. I think they should feel like their normal play style matches up pretty well against IG's. We actually saw them sort of counter draft how they thought OG's playstyle was, which is generally a good sign for a team when you're feeling flexible enough to play multiple playstyles. As far as IG, I really liked what Insania said about they should feel like they should want to break down Secret's wall. Because if you think about IG as a team, they're very aggressive, and their style is to use that aggression. If you can't play your normal style against a team like Secret, like it's gonna feel bad, at least in the first game of a best of 3.
We start off, Sheep, with a Lion Mars combo. What do you think of this opener?
I actually like it a lot. I love Mars. He's one of my favorite heroes. He was looking a little bit shaky in the group stage at a very low win rate, but I think he's seen like this resurgence of teams like continuing to pick him and being really effective with him. Collapse especially, his Mars has been fantastic to see. We've seen it paired with Ios, but that's getting banned out this game. Lion, great hero. Provides a lot of burst, which is nice when people are picking these heroes like Ench and Tide Hunter. I'm actually surprised because Tide and Elder Titan were not banned and have not been picked on either team when they have been very popular so far.
Yeah, maybe a first for the upper bracket, it feels like. And to add on to your point about Mars, I think you're right. It feels like he's been through a bit of a renaissance with the armlet build. It allows him to have some sustain in lane. It allows him to clear creep waves with one W, don't know the name as well. And
God's Rebuke.
God's Rebuke, thank you. And typically that hero's lack damage, but Armlet has made up for that in a lot of ways. And as far as Lion, I feel like I've seen Kaka play Lion literally for 4 years. Since he was on Niobe, the TI 7 Grand Finals. Was it 7? I think it was 7. Like, he's played Lion, and he's always looked good at it. IG style, I think, has always been to have these heroes who can group up early, run at you, and then when the opponent sort of splits them up to go on the side lanes, Kaka on some Lion or Nyx is always there ready to catch them. I remember in the Singapore major, like, Abid was on Puck, and I'm like, oh, Abid Puck, he never dies. And Kaka was always there ready to catch him with perfect spellcasting.
I want to ask about the Ench pick, though, because this is not the first time that Secret first faces an Ench, but it is the first time that it's not against an ET. So what's the logic behind the pick here?
I like Ench a lot because she secures your lanes. She provides a lot to a draft, actually. She's, you can send your creeps like down lanes to push. She's really good at she can rotate onto mid and provide help support there to like secure war runes, especially if your mid is like one of these spirits that really wants the ball refill. I like her a lot for that. She's a great hero that Poppy has played a lot so far this tournament already, so I think it's like comfort and good for them.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I think Enchantress, she's sort of like a misunderstood 5 hero. I think a lot of teams, when they play their Enchantress, it's a very low farm hero, might have some Tranquil Boots or Treads and nothing else. Poppy this tournament, he has 321 GPM. He's a higher GPM player than Yapser, probably the highest position 5 GPM. I didn't check that. So Enchantress with items, she's incredibly well scaled. And when you think of these heroes at frontline, you think of the Ogres, the Banes, but Enchantress, if you pop that heal, take the 15 talent, have a couple items, she's a better tank than all of them. I think we saw that in the last series where DY, he was just running in on Enchantress and he was giving vision. They saw her, Jesus Razor, they just blow him up. I think Poppy wants to do the exact same thing here.
Interesting. Actually, Quincy Crew did that a lot in the season with MSS. They would put him on Enchantress, and that's exactly what they would do. Tank and use your body to stop smoke, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think Enchantress, she's, like, you mentioned for MSS, it was a 4 position. For Secret, they get to basically play 2 4 positions this tournament. It's just how they control the map. Because a lot of teams, they're sweeping around the map. You consolidate all your farm into your cores, But often what happens when you do that is that your supports sort of get left behind. Puppey and Secret in general, they play a more even style in terms of farm. I mean, they're still get the carry really farmed, but in the process of holding their side of the map, playing some defensive wards, you tend to like leave supports in lanes or farming like some dangerous camps more often.
Oh, what could we be expecting here, Sheep? What could we be seeing here for IG next? You have the Lion Mars. You said you like this combo, but where is this draft leaning towards, in your opinion?
Well, since they have a lot of aggression with these heroes already, I mean, we've seen how popular the spirits have been this TI already. Storm getting banned out. That does leave Void Spirit, who's been quite contested, I would say, through this TI. So maybe they'll pick it up in the next round. I think I really like Team Spirit's supports already. I mean, Monkey can flex onto any role, but like talking about how greedy they are with how they like to play their supports, I think Monkey is like amazing for that as a 4. If they want to go that route, because he gives so much vision through jumping through the trees. They get good wards down, that lets them play this aggression on the map to like farm in dangerous spots more safely. I think the supports like of how well Eng can farm, like those two complement each other, and I think it also like is good against what IG want to do. If they can scout out like these moves and stop things, then like that's gonna be really good to stop that. Lina also quite good. I think Emu's been playing it quite a lot this TI so far. And between Lion and Lina, no one's going to be left alive. That's amazing nuke.
I really like what you said about the vision coming in from Team Secret's heroes. Because when you said that, it reminded me, like how I think of Team Secret, they're always about accumulating vision, and accumulating information, which you get from vision, like Monkey King, Enchantress Case, shoving waves, which both these heroes can do if they decide to support them, and then reacting to that information to make good decisions. I think since they picked Lina mid, I was thinking, okay, I was going to say they would not put Monkey King mid, but I like this from Team Secret. Like, they're instantly countering the hero that they know where it's going. I think Lina this tournament, maybe you can play her 4, but honestly, I don't think I haven't seen it this tournament. And I used to spam Lina 4 a lot, and she feels god-awful this patch because you can't keep up your fiery soul stacks with LSA. They made the cooldown 13 seconds on LSA at level 1. So right now, Team Secret, they have damage, they have some like lane shove, some vision and annoyance. I think right now, they need to consolidate their team fight. Because if we look at the two, if Secret wants to form a wall, hold their jungle, it's looking a little bit spooky here. When Mars goes in an arena, like what's your real reaction here, right?
Can we discuss the Lina TA matchup though for a second, Sheep? Because I know that obviously this very obvious counter, you can stop Dragon Save, stop Light Strike Array, but I know that with the attack speed and the way that Lina's being played right now, the matchup doesn't seem so one-sided as it used to be.
Yeah. I would say Lina looks decent here. Like, it can go either way. If you build attack damage on Lina, I love that build. Lots of people have been doing it. You can burst through this Enchantress. You can burst through this Templar Assassin, get through her refraction charges. I personally think it's, it can go either way as the game progresses. I do think, though, that Team Secret getting this TA, getting this Vengeance they also just picked up, is going to allow this TA to kind of snowball through this game pretty hard. It looks like an all-in to like help her. So that makes Lina's game pretty hard because if TA gets a good start, gets her dagger, so on, jumping this Lina, she's a squishy hero for a long time, man.
Yeah,
So-
we've been seeing Lina's go for like Travel's BKB Silver Edge almost every game. That's no plus armor. And IG, they've actually reacted to that lack of physical mitigation. First you had the Mars, who can like maybe absorb some of this with Bork, but now to pick up the Winter Wyvern. I think it's a really good pick because right now, like, before that pick, I felt like Lina was a bit vulnerable. She might still be vulnerable because Lion Winter Wyvern supports. I don't think you can deal with the aggression of Puppey's Enchantress, but they might be able to, I don't know what their plan is for that. Maybe their plan is just pressure the lanes really hard. They do have last pick, so if they pick something that puts a lot of pressure on what I'm assuming is a Zai Vengeful Spirit, not the best laner, then I could see them like trying to hold Yapstra's Monkey King and Puppey's Enchantress to the side lanes.
What's the logic behind the offlane Vengeance Spirit? We theorized this pick would be maybe present at the TI, but I think it's the first time we see it.
I think Venge got picked a couple times.
In
I
the
saw
group
position
stages?
1. Yeah, someone played at position 1. I think
Yes.
it was Secret.
I think it was
Secret
Secret.
played at position 1
Yeah.
with a sniper, right? Was that
Secret or?
Secret OJ? I don't remember who that was.
I do remember what game you're
Yeah,
talking
they had a
about,
lot of the 4-mass armor heroes and sniper.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I don't even know it's position 3 Venge for sure.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it could be flexed.
The single target save is really good here because Mars and Lion. Mars, you think of this big AoE
Yep.
arena, but honestly, he's a single target hero. You're just spearing one hero after the arena. And Lion, if you hex on, you can save them. The buff that made Venge extremely popular when she was meta, maybe a few months ago, was that when you swap your ally, you give them damage mitigation. And also, the Aghanim Scepter became really strong once you couldn't destroy it. with a hex, it becomes a strong illusion.
You concerned though because Secret currently have very little team fight. They have a Monkey King. He probably on support, but there is nothing that really keeps people in the Monkey ult. So I feel like Team Secret need to bridge that gap with their last pick, and like TA and Venge are really awkward because they're they can be cores, but then if Vengeful is off lane, then you're taking away a off lane, which is where most of the stuns and controlling heroes come from. So I don't know. Secret's draft seems a little bit awkward right now.
Yeah,
I
feel
feel
like
is important.
I completely agree because usually the ways that you deal with team fight are either you break down those heroes in lanes or you sort of match for team fight so you can still take engagements. The last way you can do it is you can sort of play like these like sort of more spontaneous small skirmishes, pick them off, which I think is what Team Secret's sort of going for. They're going for into a snowball lineup. I don't mind it simply because of Enchantress. I think this is the only hero in Dota right now that lets you snowball off of lanes into like a commanding map position. It's just everything about this hero. You get creeps, you can take control of runes, you can gank the mid, and then you can push towers. It's just snowballs like that. And honestly, I don't know where Team Secret's heroes are going. Because wait, this is just a Venge 1, right? Again, I'm pretty sure it's
Or it could be Monkey King 1 and then
Monkey
Venge
King
2.
1.
Yeah.
And
then ET4.
honestly, they can do anything based on what IG pick last.
Honestly, it's
which
true.
is interesting.
And they have a great minus armor draft now with Elder Titan, right? The amount of physical damage is insane.
They've fully committed onto it though, and IG have a Wyvern, which is one of the greatest heroes in the game against physical damage.
But their physical damage is weird, right? It
Yeah.
comes from like minus armor, which Winter's Curse doesn't really help against. I mean, the Coda Brace will be extremely good, but it's not like one of those physical damage lineups where any Winter's Curse feels good.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. Team Secret's draft, it's not really what we've traditionally seen this tournament, but Team Secret, they're like the team that's most confident in their own ideas always.
Yep.
And I think if they think this is what's right, like why would I just want to see it. I don't even want to question like what its weaknesses are. I want to see how they apply its strengths.
Fair enough. So then, considering its strengths, what would you expect here for IG? What is it that they need to do to mitigate this?
For
line?
IG,
It doesn't have to be a prediction, but what are you looking for in this next hero?
probably just a carry that can match the tempo of Secret. I think Secret's like lineup is they're gonna take Roshan. Yeah, Weaver perfect.
That's a good call. Because
Good call.
if they tried to go for a scale, they could get run over, right? And Chandra's to Avenge. I think your idea is spot on here.
Right.
I like that Weaver a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so it is a 3 Venge, a 1 Monkey King. I did not know what I was talking about because they can go anything.
And then a TA mid, right? I presume.
Yeah, TA mid. The 1 Monkey King is a bit more team fight. And Outer Titan, I mean, this is the last phase of Outer Titan. I think Fogged is having a little tiff right now.
You cannot get too happy. That hero's getting nerfed after TI.
Yes.
Fogged will never see him again.
Well, there's one person that we do need to see before we get right into the game. As you guys know, this is the famous segment, The Last Word, and we're going to go on with BSJ's best friend, Jenkins.
Hello. Let me tell you what's going to go down in this game. There's the camera I'm supposed to look at. Okay, on one side, we got Team Secret. They got Monkey King, they have Enchantress, they have TA. Name 3 heroes that push lanes better than they do. You might be thinking there's absolutely no way that IG is going to win this game. False. That's not true. There's no way. IG absolutely can win this game, not the lane. They've got Mars, they've got Lina, they've got Lion. These are pick-off heroes extraordinaire. They can absolutely win. If these guys on Team Secret are pushing up in those side lanes, they're going to pick them off. That's what's going to happen in this game. We also have a Winter Wyvern. We have Mars, like I just mentioned already. These heroes can absolutely fight into anything. But Team Secret, what are they waiting for? What are they riding on? They need this TA to absolutely pop off. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push out the side lanes. They're trying to make sure that their TA gets farmed. And we'll see, can Matumba Man's beard give Team Secret the power to get through this game? Introducing Purge and Moxie.
Thank you so much, Jenkins. That was incredible. My goodness, Purge.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to get that kind of throw. It was a great way to start the cast.
It was fantastic. I feel like when you walk outside your building and there's that guy sitting there and he just needs to tell you everything, but, you know?
I'm usually the Jenkins side of that, so I can relate, yeah.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Well, we have a great game number 1 here for you guys. We've got Invictus Gaming versus Secret. And like Jenkins was saying, they have a lot of burst potential. They've got a lot of gank potential, things that IG does exceptionally well. But then Secret, it's Secret. They have just some of the craziest things that they can play, move. We've got the offlane Venge that we've seen a bit of on and off. It's Zai. Who knows what we're going to see?
I really liked the Venge this game. They did it as a response likely to the immobile Lina. If Lina gets out of position, she tends to have a really bad time. So being able to swap him out of position is dangerous. And as we point out in the drafting stage, having both Lion and Alina, it's a lot of burst damage and a lot of spells to go on one guy. And if that person is Vengeful Spirit with Ags, Venge is going to respawn, and then you're like, haha, your ultimates are gone. Now we're going to be strong. With that said, though, I still agree with what Jenkins said. Those pickoffs on the side lanes are going to be really satisfactory at the very minimum. But the Venge swap is still a potential solution here for Secret. So if they cast their spells amazingly, yeah, their lineup can absolutely work, and I can't wait to see if it does.
All right, well, we get the usual scuffle over here, just getting into position, trying to ensure that they get those bounty runes. You can hear everyone's very excited for this match. Love to hear that crowd. And we're going to see some fighting break out right off the bat, but Yapster will be able to take this bottom rune.
All right, nothing too extreme at the moment. I'm just kidding. They're going to fight some more.
Gotta get those value clicks off, man.
I mean, this is big against Yapsar here. He went for a boot start, so any extra regen harass at the very beginning of the laning stage is going to hurt his first 20 seconds or so. That could make the difference in whether or not you get as many denies, and therefore who hits level 2 faster. That could miss a kill time. These things might sound small, but they're really, really important in these super high-level games where everybody makes the tiniest mistakes.
See, now we've got that triple view. Mid lane going about what we expected here. Nisha being able to harass very well with these side blades. And a little bit of movement up in the top lane, too. What are things that we want to be looking for here, Purge?
Well, I think one of the bigger questions is how well Puppey is going to do on the Enchantress. It's a hero that was more or less ignored the entire group stage. She was seen as a very strong hero earlier on in the year, but all of a sudden, she's kind of popping back into it, which is a little bit surprising to me. So can Puppey get a lot of harassment done? He's going to start things off with a Centaur creep. He's got a limited time here, but this can be a great way to stabilize the lane if they can get a kill, or at least some good harass.
Checking in over on the mid lane right now. It's looking a little not so great here for Nishi. Look at the last 6 and 9s. 8.
Oh, this is so big.
Top lane, there it is. There's the first blood as Buffy gets the kill on Kaka.
It was really cool how he did that, actually. He brought the Centaur, and keep in mind, you only have 30 seconds from when you transform and take over this neutral, so he kept the Centaur more south than his hero, and then when he showed, oh, hi, I'm here, they boundless strike from farther away. That sets up the Centaur stun, then they get the body block. It was excellently executed there by Team Secret.
And Puppey is the king of positioning, and definitely not a stranger to playing this particular hero. Bottom lane, though, I like how they've went and they've blocked off the side camp. I think that's very important whenever you're playing against an Elder Titan.
Yeah, don't give them the free stacks or damage here. And once again, Puppey grabs another Centaur. We'll see if they can get another swing top. Be a little surprised, but fight bottom too.
Just harassing a little bit back and forth. Nothing too hard committal here. Yeah, so he does have to be careful, though. He's taking a decent amount of harass.
Puppey just controlling this lane. He gets another D ward here. This one's going to be blocking his large camp, so it's going to take Kaka a lot more resources to prevent Puppey from lane controlling, pulling all that good stuff. Tumba Man last hitting is going fine, but in the mid lane, oof, Emo is doing really good. 16 and 8 versus 8 and 1 on Nisha's TA. It's going to be hard to catch up if he doesn't get some stacks going.
Yeah, it was definitely a situation when we saw the harass coming out early, but Emo just, really focused up, hitting all those creeps, making sure he's getting the last hits. Clearly that has paid off. I'll be interested to see too if because IG is a really interesting team, the way that they like to move about the map. A lot of the times when they're creating stacks, they usually, instead of some teams that go off into different lanes to try to create pressure elsewhere, they usually play around that area. So do you think we're going to see something very similar to that, or are they going to try to be more aggressive, try to take away stacks from the TA?
Definitely be aggressive while they're taking stacks if possible. Secret can mitigate this a little bit by trying to push lanes all the time, because then it's going to create 2 windows for IG. Yes, they could go be aggressive and try to contest TA, but they also need to defend their towers from dying. And if they don't contribute a lot of heroes to pushing those lanes, it's a really tough decision to make.
Oh, Fly sitting very low here. It's going to have to go. Pop those one charges. Yapster hunting. He's got the spirit.
He's got a new stun.
And they have a fresh stun. They'll turn and put some damage over onto Ollie. but we'll back off.
Oh,
They
get the
canceled out the salve.
Nicely done by Zai there. That's a costly one. Do they have any more? No, just a tango. That's going to cost Fly some last hits here. It's a good time for Zai to play aggressive, get as many trades as possible. With that said, Yaptor shifts over to try to help with the water runes. That's going to guarantee it for Nisha, so they will be helping him out a little bit, help him catch up. And in fact, he's basically caught up now. 20 last hits versus the 23 on the Lina, so not bad for Nisha.
Definitely two very skilled players over in this mid lane. Bottom lane, a lot of harass coming out over onto Kaka. They're out the Hex. They've got the net, though, from the Troll. Turn around. Nice Earth Spike. Kaka. So they're trying to get the body blocks off, but not going to be able to succeed.
But still, they're making good pressure up there. Puppy is not super highly leveled, which is going to make Matoma Man get his levels more faster. JT pushing him back.
Good Earth Spike again, but they'll put some more harass over onto JT.
He got the stun. He's going to heal off of this creep wave most likely. There
it is.
Very nice. And he went for 3 points in Jingu Mastery, so he wants as much lifesteal as possible. And that's probably because he knows that Puppy's not always going to be in the lane, so making sure that he can lane sustain without a support coming over is going to be really helpful.
Seeing a pretty even matchup now here in the mid lane. 29 and 14 over on Lina, 28 and 5 over on Nisha's TA. Have some beautiful stacks though, and Puppy, he's creeping in. He has an idea that these are being made.
This is the best thing to do. Oh, stacks, cool. I can pick the best neutral creep that I want. And that takes a lot of the gold out of the pile. Fly getting a Zai kill though.
Indeed he is.
And honestly,
Good moves,
it's very normal for Venge 3 to die at least like once or twice in the lane stage. It's not easy.
What about this Puppy though? That's a Laguna Blade. LSA doesn't quite connect. Puppy hiding over on the tree line, putting out some of the impetus. He is going to fall, but we have that high five coming out over here. Nisha gets the kill on Emo.
A very big juke by Puppy. That forces Emo to commit and gets him that easy return kill. So excellent trade once again for Secret, but the game is still even.
Indeed it is. Wouldn't be surprised to see some more movement going around those stacks over in the top area.
At the very least, they're going to keep blocking these camps, move Enchantress over to limit the large camp, or they can start getting aggressive on the map. And while Puppy's accomplished a lot, he is still level 2, which can have its downsides. It's a little bit harder to make as much happen for you to be survivable if you have that trouble. Matoma Man getting a great trade off top once again, gets a Jingu stack, harasses JT, but...
Zai, the bottom lane, they're going for the dive. It's going to be Ollie who collects on this kill.
Thinking about diving mid though. All the supports stay there.
Thinking about a trap, gets popped, the center, stop coming out, pulls Emo into place. They go in for the cold embrace, will follow up though with the Earth Spike. It's still a dead Kaka, and they get another one. They get Emo, Ollie running for his life, another trap pop, and he's going to be the last one to fall in the mid lane.
Man, I was a second away from criticizing Secret for their supports not being bottom and for Venge dying twice in a row, but you saw the payoff there so hard. Puppy comes in, lands a monster 2-man war stomp. I didn't even know the stun went that wide, but he gets 2 heroes, and Matoma Man rotated. Remember I said before he got that Jingu stack? He brought that buff all the way to the mid lane for this gank, and it gave him that huge damage burst against Lina. And now they just get the tier 1 tower in 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
That's incredible.
It's going to open up quite a bit of options for them. You know they're going to want to take that Roche early. That's Secret Dota, baby. That's how they play.
This is the dangerous thing about these successful early game heroes, is that it just creates this weird tempo and puts IG in a bad place. It does restrict Nisha's farm normally, but this guy's great at jungling and clearing stacks, so he doesn't really care that much if he sort of loses his mid lane for a while, because now he's just going to farm really aggressively on the other side of the map, and we'll see how long it takes for Secret to take this safe lane tier tower for IG.
Give me a prediction, Perch. How long do you think this is going to take? Because they're making those moves right here, right now. They've got the vision. They're poking away at Fly.
Ooh, Ollie's going to try to slow it down, but he's getting
Ollie, this is not good for you, my friend. Matsu just whacking away. Yaps are following. They do have the play, but they have the tree jump. Hopping right back down again. They want this kill, and it's going to Matoma Man. Bottom lane, more pressure being placed on Fly. They want this tower, and they're pushing it hard.
They're getting some damage done, but it's a little bit tough. Little skeletons are certainly going to help. But diving the Weaver is a problematic thing. Even like Vengeful Spirit has some issues, because you can not land the stun if he goes invisible. You have to commit a dust, but sometimes he's going to time-lapse dodge things. It's a little hard for them to secure that kill on the Weaver, and as a result, not as easy for them to force this tower as much as they'd like it to. And on the other side of the map, JT's had a free lane for the last couple of minutes ever since Matu left, but The bright side is that he's going this armlet build, and it takes him some time to get it online. So even though his net worth is going to be good, in some ways IG would rather him just have a fast blink dagger.
Matumba Man is landing over onto Kaka. The sleep coming through. Couple more clicks and down he'll go. Fly now. In a world of hurt, he's not going to be able to. Oh, manages to jump over. And the back line, there's the arena. They're just clicking away over onto Zai. Swap comes out though. This is looking like a squish bug as Matu gets himself a double kill. They're looking for more. They find JT over in the corner thanks to this trap. The pin over to the tree. JT, he's trying to stay alive, but there's too many heroes. There's too much damage. And eventually, Ollie saving him for just a moment, throwing out that embrace, but he will fall, and Ollie will fall as well.
It is so hard for IG to defend against these fights because Secret is just collapsing together perfectly. It all started with Matumba Man's stun, sets up the guaranteed Yapsor stun that buys them more time. He gets Jingu's pickups, eventually just cleans up the team. And look at that, the tower on the other side of the map is just now dying to Emo. He's died 2 times so far this game off of those early dives mid. He hasn't had as much time to just clear the mid wave and then go do other things. And the tempo is just going to accelerate now. The enemy jungle is gone. Secret's going to start playing super aggressive and not going to give IG any space.
That is a huge problem. This is exactly how Secret likes to play. They like to get this advantage. They like to choke out their opponents when they are just having difficulty trying to catch up. The flip side of that, IG, this is the thing, right? We get these team metas. When teams start playing against each other frequently, in terms of like boot camps and whatnot, you get used to one another. And the big thing that IG likes to do are these ganks. The pickoffs, they like burst damage, and clearly Secret has done their homework because they are just playing so tightly together.
But the thing is, I think, and one of the things that restricts him on the ganks, Lion's obviously amazing, but he had a rough laning stage. He just hit 6 with the tome. And they're going to go for a kill, see if they can get it. But the other issue is they picked Wyvern. Wyvern is a great pick for this to counter against Secret's heroes, but not the best ganking hero and not the greatest laning hero. And that's part of the reason they've lost this laning stage by a moderate amount. But we'll see if JT can get a pick off here.
Zai sitting very far back, wants absolutely nothing to. And they have a feeling. I feel like they know.
They got him with the scan just a little bit. They know they're playing.
Standing over to the side, you can see already Matumba Man teleporting on in. Swap in for the initiation. They managed to find Fly. Can they burst him down fast enough, though, is the question. Yes, they can. Another high five being requested from Nisha.
That was really close, actually. Puppey didn't have his dust in his inventory. I saw it come off cooldown the moment after they got that kill. It was really close to him escaping. But that was a cool gank. Haven't seen the early ulti into swap, into double stun. That was really awesome. But boy, they almost lost it. But great kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And now they're just going to have a brief period of lull, most likely. TA was going for fast blink dagger. Nisha's already got it picked up, so her damage output isn't going to be as good, but she's just going to be a second version of Monkey King. When they find somebody out of position, both TA and Monkey are jumping in, and they're doing a lot of damage. And against a vulnerable hero like Lina, that's super scary right now. Emo had to buy Yule Scepter as soon as possible. That's going to help him to defend himself if he gets in trouble. But frankly, if he gets swapped out of position, I can't help but think that he's going to die no matter what, because even if you buy yourself a little time, your team's going to have to back you up somehow to keep you alive.
Like you said, the way that they jump on Emo, even though he does have that Yule Scepter, there's generally at least one other person, right, participating in these ganks. So even if you buy yourself some more time, he just doesn't have any way to really save himself beyond that.
It's got to be Cold Embrace. It's going to stop physical damage. That'll help a lot against Monkey King and the TA, assuming that your team can like counter-initiate in that 4-second period. And Winter's Curse is another great way, as can be our Mars ulti, but there's just so many different angles that are worrisome that it makes it look a little scary to me for IG. And Zai died twice in laning stage, but now he's doing pretty good. He's got his point booster. He's got his first stat item of his Zags, 2k gold, and he's going to have this. And then he's just going to be a super nuisance every fight. You're going to see probably 2 swaps, multiple sets of stuns, a lot of dangerous things for IG to deal with.
Why haven't we been seeing Venge in this offlane position quite as often recently?
There's just stronger heroes is a pretty safe example. Heroes that can win the lane. Venge basically never wins the lane as a 3-position hero unless they like really mess up on the enemy team. So the nice thing about Venge is that you basically have free Aegis. So you can think of like Venge Ags as like being a Wraith King, which is a huge advantage. That's his ultimate. You can get it with just with an item. So having that advantage is great, but it isn't very good at the laning stage, and that can really get a lot of drafts off to the wrong start if you can't really feel your hero's advantage in those early positions.
So it's just a high risk, high reward kind of setup is what I'm getting.
Yeah, that, and also you have to worry that if they have like a greedy carry, you're going to want to punish that. Otherwise, they're just going to go crazy. And Venge can't really do that as well. It's more of a mid or late game hero.
Kaka standing on the high ground. There's a swap over onto Emo. Immediately trying to keep Emo alive. That double damage not looking so good. The sleep comes out though. Able to get the kill on Emo. Follow up with the Winter's Curse fight over onto the back lines though. Kaka running for his life is going to get punched down by Yapsor. And they'll take down Ollie. Yapsor still hunting, wants to get his hands on Fly, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to quite do it as he does have the Shikuchi up. But they'll happily turn around on the side of Secret and go into the Roche with the double damage.
It's so easy for them to do this now, but that was legitimately a 2-shot on Lina. That was a Melt Strike with a second hit from Nisha. Obviously, there was also minus armor from Venge, but that was all about the Tumbler toy. The Lina was just playing aggressive, Emo playing aggressive in the mid lane, but that Tumbler toy jump with the swap up to the high ground, he had no solution to get out once the stomp was there to follow it up.
I'm going to make you say that 3 times fast now.
Which part?
Tumbler toy.
Tumbler toy, Tumbler toy, Tumbler toy. Got anything else?
Emo running now from Yapsor and Nisha. They're hunting. They want this kill, and they will take it.
This is just so cool to see them punish the Lina. It's one of the most feared heroes, frankly, for a couple teams. T1 is another hero that it really stands out for. But Secret was so ready for it in this draft.
This is not looking good for Fly. Uses the time lapse. Tries to defend the swap, though. Again, Zai doesn't seem to care because he knows Tisha's right behind the follow-up with an arena. Will pin Zai off to the side. And IG will get themselves a kill.
Bottom, Matu gonna get a solo kill. Pretty sure here on
Kaka. Can he get out in time? The monkey's got one more hit, and there it is.
Anytime you see a death like that on one side of the map, you're like, yeah, okay, but is Secret getting something else? And I look bottom, Monkey sitting in the trees channeling his ulti. Oh, that's not good for Kaka.
Not good at all.
Especially because he's trying to finish his Blink Dagger. That's usually like a lull moment. Oh, go sit down there. No one's going to be in the area. Nah, Matumba Man was ready for that one. Punishes Kaka. Still 1,000 gold till he can get Blink and be really active and set up these team fights.
So what's the play now going here for IG? How do they move about this map? How do they get this real estate back? Because it feels like Secret is just fighting them tooth and nail for any inch.
They're being really oppressive, and I think the scariest thing for IG is that Lina is struggling so hard. JT did a great pivot. He stopped his Helm of Iron well, and he went for Blink instead, so he stopped building the armlet, recognizing what they needed. So that part is online, but Emo just looks like such a vulnerability in this game so far. We've all seen in these fights a wave of terror and a little bit of pressure, and he just goes down. In fact, I almost wish that he had the Arcane Ring on his hero instead. He needs all the armor he can get right now.
The jump over into the mid lane. They spotted Zai. Nisha's here, though. Look at the damage. 2 hits will take out Kaka, and there's the Laguna. They can't finish on Zai. He's going to be able to just walk away. Emo running for his life. Nisha looking for the opening. LSA will connect, but now Fly joining into the fight. Has to be careful. They'll throw out the dust, force the Weaver away.
That was so cool. He swaps while the Dragon Slave is mid-air, so he's not there for the fire to get hit.
Emo. There are monkeys lurking in the trees, and Anisha who wants to cut you into pieces.
I just don't know what they can do about the Monkey King. He's already got Orb of Corrosion. He's got Echo Saber. He's getting pretty close to the Deso, to be honest. They're going to have 2 Desos on their team. That just means that he blows up these low armor heroes. If he ever catches Wyvern or Lion or even Lina without a defensive item or an ally nearby, he's just going to blow him up. And that's the case for both of these cores. And that just makes the game so much easier for Secret, because they just need one of those guys, they're very mobile, plus a support, and they can kill almost any hero.
JT has got to be feeling nervous.
He's got Blink.
Does have the Blink. He's just going to get into the corner, teleport out. I'm sure that trap popping probably scared him a little bit. It's like, oh no, is Nisha here? No.
It's a little scary. Or Monkey King.
I mean, Monkey King's got his eyes on a little bug, and monkeys like to eat bugs, Purge. Not going to land the Boundless, though. Enough time to force Fly back.
Oh, he changed his build, actually. He went for the Basher instead. I wonder if this is because he recognized they already had a Deso. It's a little bit unsynergistic for you both to purchase it. It would have been good. But Basher's great, too. It's going to make it even easier to kill Lina, to kill those supports, to kill Weaver. So I like the pivot here. They're in such a good position. This doesn't bother me at all that he's gone back for a slightly inefficient damage item. It's perfect for the utility.
But I also feel when they're, sitting pretty like they are, it's a little bit easier to be able to make these more creative choices, right? Not necessarily the ones that you're expecting, but the ones that are going to help you seal the victory.
Exactly. It's easier to talk about the what's the 4th, 5th, and 6th items you buy.
Right.
It's like saying what are the best 6 items on here. It's all game dependent, and when you're this far ahead, you can really just be flexible and do something that's going to help you close out the game, not necessarily just get ahead. And this is Basher's a great item for that. If they can get a couple crucial pickoffs where normally somebody should be able to defend themselves, it's going to continue the map pressure. And Secret gets a tier 2 tower that's going to open Shrine.
Top
Just
lane,
huge
though.
advantage.
IG trying to find some movement, trying to just put some pressure over on the tower. They're not feeling confident to go up against them just yet. We still, of course, have 30 seconds on that Aegis of the Immortal on the TA. Smoke play comes out from IG. They might be looking to make a swing play. Agnum Scepter completed, though, for the Vengeful Spirit. This is going to be a hard fight.
Yeah, the moment he sees anybody, they're getting swapped, and he's fighting to the death. Twice.
Yapzor getting into position. Oh, the 3-man boundless! A follow-up again over on the back lines. The whole Matu at the place, but he's winding up there for that Wukong. They go, they put out the Earth Splitter coming through the take. Now Kaka the King of Slime Block. Swap coming out now to protect Matu as Ollie has been left behind. Nisha is godlike.
I really thought that Matu might be in some trouble there, but that 3-man boundless strike was incredible. Also fortunate for him that the same time that came out, Winter Wyvern ends up cold embracing the line. So even though they did disable Matu, he's not able to fall off right away. That hurt IG's defensive play there to try to catch him. They put the burst damage in him, but he survived just too far ahead.
It is getting so spooky for the side of IG. Very little vision up. They still have some towers, right? You've got the top tier 1 over there. Double damage now for Nisha. What is this? His 3rd double damage?
It helps when you control the map, but whatever rune does come up, it is a lot of DDs by all means. There's like, 6 power runes it can cycle through. This one's going to be huge. 120 damage right now is his bonus if he gets it. He's got the Grow Bow as well, so its attack range is legitimately like a normal ranged hero. So it makes it even easier to get those pickoffs. And still no Blink Dagger for Kaka on the Lion.
Definitely struggling, trying to find any opening, but it's one of those situations where his cores need this. They need the farm as well. How do you move about the map? Because every time they show up, it feels like Secret is just there.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about being behind is that you don't have as much safe places that your core can be like, yeah, you know what, you can just have that one place that's like slightly safe. Instead, it's like those places have to go directly to your core so they can try to catch up as much as possible.
Right.
I really like Emo's item pickup goes for the Dragon Scale. It's absolutely the right item. He needs as much armor as he can get right now to keep him alive against these heroes, but here comes the possible swap bottom.
Yeah, again, they have the dust. Couple hits immediately over onto Fly. He's going to have to time lapse away. Ollie in position, worried. He's going to try to turn this around. Does have the Winter's Curse. Should be able to take down Puppy, but is going to pay for it with his life. And that's now a Winter's Curse that they don't have to worry about on the side of Secret.
That's true, but any kill they can get right now with being this far behind in gold is going to give them a nice advantage. And that's 260 going to Winter Wyvern, and now he's got a Blink Dagger.
Emo, do you know what's lurking in the darkness?
Well, that's really scary.
Look at him,
actually.
he's just like, something's wrong. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, when TA sits like that, she's prepping a double meld strikes. That's minus 16 armor on top of her Desolator. That's a lot. That's like one shot. Well, it's not going to be one shot, but
do your math.
I guarantee Lena would die in 2 attacks from that. That's like if he gets within 600 units, which is quite a lot right now, death if he doesn't use it in time.
BKB picked up now for Fly. It's going to give him a little bit more survivability, but it is still very difficult, very dangerous, because he's got to make sure that he does not get stun locked before he's able to get off that BKB.
And even then, it's not a game you want to buy BKB, in my opinion. Like, you can stop, like, Echo Stomp easier, but Vengeful Spirit Swap still goes, and, yeah, you'll stop Monkey Stun, but, like, if Monkey just gets on top of him, he doesn't care. He's just going to auto-attack, slow him with Orb, slow him with Skull Basher, stun him with Skull Basher. But it's just it's an item he has to get this game. There's too much at stake, and it's too scary.
I'll say, though, both of the cores over on the side of IG have been not making space, but finding the farm, finding the space. If you take a look at just what the net worth's looking, obviously we've got the TA, who's just been balling out of control, 14K, but everyone else is fairly close, right behind, because they are finding these openings, but looking for the pick-off, the fight, the advantage on the side of IG as they are smoked up and they're making their way over towards the Roche Pit. Zai is, I don't think, the person they want, but they're going to have to take it. So they'll open up with a stun, they'll fall off the finger. Can they do enough damage? That's the question. Zai, all as they'll go right back, try to put the pressure over onto the mid lane.
And all of that, and they only killed one hero. They had to kill Venge twice. They almost killed Monkey, but that defensive swap was huge. And after that fight, I was thinking the same thing as Matoma. And, you know, maybe it's time for a BKB. That was a little too scary for him. If he has BKB, he can definitely continue fighting there. But in that moment, it looked like a big weakness for Secret. But either way, that's the advantage that Secret wants. Put the Venge way in the front. Let the enemy jump on him. And he just gets to make the team fight pretty decent for them. Whilst the rest of Secret rolls over and takes a 5v5.
How do you position yourself in these fights, right? Because
For which
obviously...
team?
So obviously, like, Zai has just been running at them because he is the initiator. It's definitely at the point where, you know, they're not as afraid to take these fights because they do have the backup. Elder Titan, an incredible hero for this sort of thing. But for IG, it just feels like they can't quite figure out how to get around. How do you get around the defensive wall that is, of course, Zai here?
It's very difficult. The best thing they would go for, obviously, is a blink disable kills on either TA or Monkey King if they can catch them. And this is part of the reason Matoma Man's playing trees right now, because he can basically kill a creep wave every boundless strike. Once he hits 20, that cooldown goes down a lot, and that's even easier for him to do it. So he knows that he's the obvious kill right now. So until he gets BKB, he's not going to feel very comfortable being aggressive on the map. And that's why Secret's playing a little bit carefully right now. If they just keep the net worth about even, and then he gets BKB, the game's going to get... It's going to feel like very, very, very winnable.
Oh, look at this. The swap immediately just going to get rid of Kaka. He's going to buy a bit more time. Nice echo stomp. Ollie into position. He wants to try to find the opening. He's not going to be able to do it. Fly with the BKB now. Buyback coming out from Lion. They'll turn their attention to get over onto the Winter Wyvern because Zai is going to fall next. Ollie will fall. Swap out again, though. This Axe on the bench doing so much work. Boundless comes in hot. Kaka's not looking very good right now. They get a nice arena. Do they have the damage, though? They have the BKBs. They turn it back around. Emo, he's not looking like he's going to survive this. He gets taken out. Nisha just chipping away over at JT. That's a dead Mars, and it's looking like a dead Fly. If they could just get their hands on him, and it doesn't matter. They have the spear.
Zai got 2 kills in that fight with a Wave of Terror. That was pretty sick. First picks off Fly, but ultimately, amazing fight. They got separated a little bit. It looked a little bit rough for Secret, but Zai just swaps out any danger. Matu gets a great ulti to set up and guarantee the Lina kill, and this is that advantage that Secret got. BKB's online. Zai's going to respawn here on his illusion, ready to go, despite everybody on IG being dead. Here's a clip once again. Swap instantly on Kaka. So important so that he can't disable those important heroes. BKB gets used on Fly, so that Zai can't really grab the guy he wants necessarily, but that's okay, because he's just buying time and getting vision for his team. Ollie lived a little bit longer than I expected there, but swapping in the TA. He gets speared back, but a lot of damage reduction. There's Lion coming back again, but he gets cleaned up.
JT trying to force him out of the base. Important to note, the swap from Zai. Emo trying to just run away. LSA connects. They get a kill on Zai, but he's back up again. He's got that axe. Matumba Man, Echo Stomp landing the swap again into the Boundless, into the burst damage. That's known as Nisha. Look, the follow-up with the Winter's Curse. This is not looking good for them right now. They'll be able to take that Matu. Follow up with an arena. IG, they're coming back up swinging. They're trying to get them out of their base, but they don't have the positioning. They don't have that damage. The Hex coming out again over on the side of this TA. They need to put out more. Can they do it? Fly with the BKB chasing him down. He has to turn back around. They punched. He's gone perhaps a bit too far. He's going to get held into the trees with that spear. And Nisha and Poppy and Zai are just going to run the heck out.
IG would not let Secret leave the base. The Rax was already gone, but they sensed some momentum shift there that they could pressure their opponents. But that said, some of that was Zai as well. He kept the fight going as well. Swapping offensively, ultimately maybe costing them a bit because Monkey King ended up dying there. But if we take a look at the net worth advantage, 14,000 gold advantage for Secret. And frankly, a lot of that was from buybacks. A ton of that came from the IG side.
That was definitely IG very angry that they were cracking their base and simultaneously taking Roshan.
It's tough for them to catch up, but they got to take those opportunities. And when the enemy team's in your base, it's one way.
Little cheeky play there.
No regen for you, but there's a Scotty on Templar Assassin.
Oh my word.
An excellent item against any range cores. That means Lina, that means Weaver. That's why he picked this up.
Oh, they have the vision. We saw that swap coming from a mile away. Another one bites the dust.
And that means they're going to keep pressuring. They don't want to give them any time to get stuff done. So they will go high ground. Zai does not have buyback. That means he can only die twice in this fight, except for 3 times. big disadvantage there for Zai.
Wow, Zai, really?
Yeah.
Really, dude?
Look at this damage from low
They
ground.
can't even get anywhere near it. I mean, they have a Wyvern, right? The Wyvern at least will be able to push out these waves, but Nisha just does not care.
Can't cold embrace the buildings, and they're just going to fall. Good luck fighting into this. They got 2 minutes on Aegis.
JT, all right, he's looking for initiation. We'll jump over onto the they follow up. Okay, they'll get the heal. It's good. Oh, the swap though coming up from Zai, buying enough time, but they do a lot of damage over onto this Monkey King. Are they actually going to take that Montu? They take that Montu. JT throwing up the arena, doesn't want to let Zai go. Zai's going to come back up again. That's life number 2 as they do manage to hold copy over into the arena. Yapzor's back though. Anisha clicking away. Fly. He's trying to get out. Oh, look at the damage. They take down Ollie. Nisha just back fighting everyone. They get the kill on Kaka. JT on the low ground. He can't get back into his home. And they're going to take down Fly too.
That looked so good for IG. They end up partially initiating, forcing Secret to group up, and that's when they hit him with the Winner's Curse, guaranteeing the Matu kill. But all of a sudden, Nisha sends blood in the water. He jumps up, gets the backline with the supports. They even briefcase down the Weaver on the low ground. And I think this is about the end of this game here. Almost everybody is dead, and Zai's going to be up in 50 seconds. I mean, they're only missing Monkey King at the moment.
There is no buyback on any of these heroes. They are coming up, though. The Winter Wyvern's going to be back up. So is the Lion. They just call it. They called it. They just don't want to deal anymore with what Secret's got going for them.
It's way too hard for IG to play this deficit because they'd have to engage with 2 supports in Lina. Lina hasn't felt strong all game. Ever since those early laning stage ganks, the supports, they had great abilities, but like, how are you going to engage on a TA that's attacking your tier 4 towers from 600 units away? They have no option there without their cores up. So, wow, what a play.
Definitely very impressive. I would say also that this felt a lot like the Zai show. I don't know if that's the same feeling that you got off of this.
They all played so good, honestly. Those early ganks were huge, though. Zai played great. Matu won his lane and rotated successfully. Like, as they played so cohesive as a team, and it made a big difference.
All right, well, that's going to be game number 1, guys. And, of course, this is best 3, so we have plenty more. But we're going to toss it over to our panel.
Thank you very much, Moxie and Purge. A very, very convincing win for Team Secret. Now, when we were in the green room talking,